Let's talk about something that gets almost everyone: discipline. But we're going to do more than just talk about it. We are going to completely rebuild how you think about it right from the very beginning.
I mean, really think about it. When you decide you want to build a new habit, what's your go-to move? For most of us, it's just gritting our teeth and trying to muscle through with pure willpower, right? We tell ourselves, okay, this time I'm going to be stronger.
And that right there is the trap. Seriously, relying on willpower is exactly why most people fail before they even get going. But here's the good news. There is a much smarter way to do this.
All right, so let's just get right into it and shatter the biggest myth there is. See, the real fight here isn't about having more willpower. It's about building way better systems. Okay, so here's the problem laid out a whole new way. I want you to think of your willpower like a phone battery. Seriously, you start the day with a full charge, but every little decision you make, every temptation you resist, it just drains it. And by the end of the day, you're running on empty. A system, though, that's completely different. It makes the good behavior the default setting, the automatic choice. It just runs on autopilot. That's what makes it sustainable for the long haul and helps you avoid that total burnout.
Okay, so you're probably asking, how do I actually build one of these systems? Well, the very first pillar, the place you have to start, is your physical environment. You've got to stop trying to force good behavior and start designing your world for it.
And the key concept that makes all of this work is something called friction. Just think of friction as any little bit of effort or resistance that stands between you and doing something. And here's the secret. Our brains are fundamentally lazy. I mean, they're wired to take the easiest path possible, and we can totally use that to our advantage.
And here is exactly how you put that idea into practice. To get rid of a bad habit, you want to increase the friction. Hide the junk food in the garage, unplug the TV after you use it. Each of those adds an extra step, and that little bit of effort makes you way less likely to indulge. Now, for good habits, you do the exact opposite. You reduce the friction. Laying out your workout clothes the night before, that removes a major hurdle for your sleepy morning self. Prepping healthy snacks, that makes the good choice the easy choice. See how that works?
You know, there's another hidden enemy that's draining your willpower all day long, and it's something called choice fatigue. The way to think about it is this: every single decision you make, and I mean every one, from what to wear to what to eat, it's like a tiny little withdrawal from your self-control bank account.
So how do you fight back against this? How do you beat it? You do it by putting decisions on autopilot. When you meal prep for the week, you've just eliminated that whole what's for dinner debate for 5 straight days. When you plan your outfits or schedule your next day before you go to bed, you wake up with a clear mission, not a paralyzing list of choices. Every decision you remove saves up that precious mental energy for the stuff that actually matters.
Okay, so we've tackled the external environment. We've designed our space. Now let's turn inward and talk about how to actually rewire our brain's internal programming to make discipline stick.
The secret here is all about creating this powerful, positive feedback loop. And listen, you don't start by trying to run a marathon on day one. No way. You start with something so small it's almost laughable, a micro step. Like maybe just putting on your running shoes. That's it. That gives you a small, easy win. And that little win starts to change how you see yourself. It starts to reinforce a new identity.
And this is the whole point, this shift in your internal language. You've got to stop saying, ugh, I have to do this, because that just feels like a chore, right? Instead, every tiny win lets you start saying something new to yourself. I am the kind of person who shows up. You see the difference? You're not forcing an action anymore. You're just being who you are. And that, believe me, is a total game changer.
Now there's another psychological hurdle we have to get over. Our brains are literally hardwired for instant gratification. They hate delayed rewards. And that's why discipline can feel so painful, right? The payoff, like getting in shape or finishing a huge project, feels like it's a million miles away.
So the solution is to kind of hack this system. Don't wait around for that big, distant payoff. Instead, give yourself a small, immediate reward right after you complete a task. It could be something simple, like listening to your favorite song after a 25-minute work session, or watching one episode of a show after you exercise. This trains your brain to connect the hard work with an instant hit of good feelings.
All right, so now that we've got the foundation, the environment, and the mindset, let's put together a toolkit. These are the ongoing practices that are going to keep your discipline system fueled up and running strong.
And inside this toolkit, there's one concept that's, well, it's really the engine for everything else. It is the single most important pillar for building that kind of long-term,
unshakable discipline we're all after.
And here it is, the idea that self-control isn't some fixed trait you were born with. It's a muscle, and you can train it. Think about it. Every single time you consciously resist a small temptation, like not checking that phone notification for 5 more minutes, or skipping that extra cookie you don't really need, you are doing 1 rep for your self-control muscle. And just like any muscle, it gets stronger over time.
And here are the other critical tools you need in your kit. First, accountability. Having a partner, a friend, anyone. It leverages the simple fact that our brains just work harder when we know someone is watching. Next, emotional regulation. This is huge because stress and bad moods are massive triggers for impulsive bad choices. And please never forget the basics: quality sleep and good nutrition. They are literally the biological foundation of self-control. And finally, strategic breaks. You have to take them because mental fatigue will absolutely destroy your focus and your willpower.
And one last, super important point. This whole system isn't a set it and forget it kind of deal. It's alive. It's dynamic. You have to check in with yourself, maybe weekly. Ask yourself, what worked, what didn't? You have to treat it like a feedback loop that you are constantly tweaking and making better.
Okay, so let's bring all of this home with one final, really powerful mindset shift. This is the idea that captures the entire philosophy we've just walked through.
And it's this: stop being a laborer who tries to get things done with brute force. Instead, become an architect who designs systems that make the work effortless. A laborer gets exhausted. An architect creates something where success becomes almost inevitable. Your goal is to be the architect of your own habits.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. I want you to look at your own life, your own goals, and just for a moment, forget about willpower. What is the very first system you are going to design for yourself?